What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, August 28th, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is just past midnight here in Pennsylvania, and we have some major breaking news. The National Hurricane Center is now revising their forecast for Tropical Storm Idalia, and they're saying that it's going to hit Florida as a major hurricane, okay? A major hurricane. We're talking category 3 or higher. So here I have the latest satellite imagery, and you can see that this tropical storm is rapidly intensifying. You can see a lot of these exterior bands starting to form around the center of circulation. And right now it is in between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula, and it's expected to head north and then northeast and then make landfall somewhere along the panhandle of Florida as a major hurricane. Okay, so if you live in Florida, you better make sure you have a good plan. If you live in Georgia and South Carolina, you also need to have a plan because this thing is going to rake across Georgia and South Carolina. So there's going to be some serious impacts in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. Now, let me show you the latest forecast cone as of 11 p.m. Sunday night. And so, as you can see, they have this thing going north and then turning to the northeast and making landfall somewhere in this armpit of Florida right here. Okay, this bend, all right? And then it's going to rake across northern Florida, southern Georgia, and southern South Carolina before heading out into the Atlantic. So we're going to have a lot of impacts here: northern Florida, southern Georgia, coastal South Carolina, lots of rain, lots of wind. It's going to be a bad situation. And what's interesting is we currently have a presidential doomsday plane in the air right now, which is pretty weird. So I'll show you guys that in a minute here. But here we have a screenshot of a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration plane that was flying to gather data ahead of this storm. And the water temperatures are extremely high in the Gulf of Mexico right now. So this storm is going to explode and turn into a major hurricane as soon as it gets out into this area. What's interesting about this NOAA plane is that it flew right over Cuba. That's very interesting. As far as I know, we're not really too friendly with Cuba. I wonder if it got permission to do that or if it just flew really high. You can see it was flying extremely high here, and it just flew so high that, Cuba probably didn't even know it was flying over their airspace. Um, but this is a very serious situation, guys. Okay, very serious. Here we have that presidential doomsday plane currently in the air. Looks like it might be heading for Wright-Patterson Air Base, but it took off from Barksdale. Barksdale is home of Air Force Global Strike Command. And what's interesting is it flew towards several large cities. You can see that it flew towards Oklahoma City, then down to Texas, then to Texarkana, and then it did a loop here. And it looks like it's heading right for Dayton, Ohio, Wright-Patterson. Okay, so something's going on, guys. You don't scramble a doomsday plane like this for no reason and have it fly over major cities. So this is very interesting, and we currently have Hurricane Hunter's aircraft flying through Tropical Storm Idalia right now. Okay, it has the call sign Teal 72, and this is a Lockheed Martin WC-130J Weatherbird. Okay, and it took off from Biloxi, and it's about to fly right through Idalia. Okay, let me read to you what the National Hurricane Center is saying. Very concerning what they're saying here. Usually, the Hurricane Center is very conservative, and for them to be sounding the alarm bells means that something is going on. You can see here that at 48 hours from now, they have 110-mile-per-hour winds, and then they have a landfall of around 100-mile-per-hour winds. And they're saying here that they may have to revise the forecast to include a major hurricane. So let me read this to you. Idalia is sitting over very warm waters of about 30 degrees Celsius, and when it moves northward, it will be over the even deeper warm waters of the loop current in 24 to 36 hours. Although the trough over the Gulf could impart some shear over the system, this is likely to be offset by upper level defluence. Idalia has already strengthened more than anticipated, and the environment looks ripe for additional intensification, possibly rapid. The National Hurricane Center intensity forecast has been increased and lies at the upper bound of the guidance. The new prediction shows a 95-knot hurricane over the eastern Gulf of Mexico at 48 hours, but it should be stressed that additional strengthening to major hurricane strength is becoming increasingly likely before Idalia reaches the Gulf Coast of Florida. Interests within the storm surge and hurricane watch areas are urged to prepare for possible significant impacts and monitor future updates to the forecast. Okay, so very, very serious situation here, guys. Okay, they're saying right here Idalia has already strengthened more than anticipated, and the environment looks ripe for additional intensification, possibly rapid. It should be stressed that additional strengthening to major hurricane strength is becoming increasingly likely. All right. So, very concerning news here. Here's the latest storm surge forecast, and I think this is going to go up higher. I think right now this is on the lower end, but they already have it up to 11 foot of storm surge from Chassahowitzka to Osceola River. Okay, this armpit of Florida, and I don't mean that in like any kind of negative way. It just kind of looks like an armpit here. You know, this bend, um, 7 to 11 feet here. Okay, Tampa Bay, 4 to 7 feet of storm surge. I think this is going to go up probably another 5 feet or so tomorrow once they revise the forecast. I think they're going to have a major hurricane making landfall somewhere in this area tomorrow. I think that's going to be their next updated forecast. Somewhere in this area, we're going to have a major hurricane. So northern Florida is in the crosshairs. Get prepared. If you're not prepared, you have very little time. This thing is going to make landfall within 2 to 3 days. Here we have the latest rainfall forecast, and I think this is going to go up as well. I think we're going to see areas in northern Florida that get 15 inches, but this is their forecast right now, a widespread area of 6 to 10 inches around Tallahassee and even southern and central Georgia. Many areas are going to get 6 to 10 inches. Okay, so very serious situation. I'm going to continue to monitor it for you and keep you updated, but wanted to just let you guys know what's going on. Major hurricane about to make landfall on Florida. Presidential Doomsday plane in the air right now. Hurricane Hunter's aircraft flying through this system. So get prepared, guys, and stay tuned to my channel for continuing coverage of Tropical Storm Idalia, soon to be a hurricane. So make sure you have the bell notification turned on so you can get notified of any uploads. And other than that, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.